I mean,
listen. You'll learn the lessons. You'll learn the lessons.
You say that.
Told you, every mistake he makes, we take a piece of clothing off his top half, and it's cold. And he'll learn. He'll learn the hard way.
That's why he keeps coming in 87 layers, just so he can still have some on.
Chilling, man.
Because of the mistakes. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Everton Daily Live, Thursday, 28th of November. Hope you're all well. Very chilly one today. It was when I left the house to come to work this morning. My car was frozen. Elsa, not home and away. Elsa. Hope we're all well. We're asking today, just because, why not? Does Beto deserve a chance? Everton haven't scored a goal. Didn't score a goal in November and won't get the chance to, given we don't play again till December.
Science.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin hasn't scored a goal since September. We need to do something. Beto is the last person to score an Everton goal. Does he deserve a go to try and maybe just freshen up something? It's not necessarily, is he amazing and he should be in every week and stamping your feet for him, but do we need to just freshen something up? Because right now, Ped, it's not, there's nothing really working. What we're doing isn't working, because clearly we're not scoring any goals. And Dom last week just looked, I don't want to say disinterested, because I think that's doing him a disservice, but he's not, the best way I think I can put it is he's not firing on all cylinders himself right now.
Does he deserve it? No, he doesn't deserve it.
Okay.
But should he be given an opportunity? Maybe, yeah. I don't think he deserves it. I don't think Beto himself has done enough for I don't think personally to say, he must be starting games. But I think by proxy of when he comes on, he does cause a little bit of mischief. I think a big part of that's because of when he comes on in games. And Dom looked just
off it.
Really like he'd had enough. And people might say, that's, but I'm adamant that any striker who plays up front in this team is really going to struggle. Like any striker is really going to struggle the way we play. We
don't create quality chances.
Don't create chances. We leave the players isolated up front on their own. We ask them to do a hell of a lot. And I think that would wear down anyone. But I think Beto's got that natural enthusiasm that he wants to prove himself. And probably that alone is maybe reason why he deserves to start a game. It wouldn't be on Sunday for me. Because I just think the way the game will be, I think you need someone who can hold the ball up. That's a continual process with Beto, trying to improve him, make him better. So yeah, I mean, he should get a start coming up soon. He should get a start. Maybe a home game, maybe the Wolves game is the perfect game for him to put him up front and home and get everyone going, get the crowd going, because he as I said, he does have that. He does have an enthusiasm about him that that I think excites people. But I do think it's not enough though.
Well, I just look at like Southampton. He came on, he should have scored before they scored, and then he did score a really good goal. He was offside marginally, but took his goal well. Come on against Brentford at the weekend and had a block that was going in, cleared. He should have done better with the header. He had a couple in fact, I think he had 4 shots, was the most anyone had on Saturday in the game. And he was only on the pitch for 18 minutes. We actually looked like we might get a goal when he was on the pitch, when we hadn't done, apart from the opening sort of 5 or 10 minutes. So I do think he affects the game when he comes on. Look, I've just gone back over his goals in Italy, just to remind myself. And the majority of his goals are him running through and being slid in and stuff. And he scored a few headers as well. And balls cut across the box. Everton don't do that for Dom, so they probably wouldn't do for Beto either. But that should be the area where we're targeting. But I don't know. I just look and think, if he was a midfield player who wasn't winning tackles and all that, he'd be dropped for a different midfield player. So, Dom is a better footballer than Beto. I don't think there's any question about that. I think probably Beto's a better finisher than Dom. Really, I think had he had the chances at Ipswich, I think Beto would have stuck a couple of them away
possibly,
where Dom didn't. Would he have got them? I don't know. That's the difference. But I just think for me right now, when your team's going through, listen, there's loads of stuff speculation going around about Sean Dyche, and he might not be here much longer. That is what it is, right? But when you're here and he's the man currently in post, I think you have to try lots of different things to try and correct what's going wrong. I think if you just keep going now, we had this last year, though. Remember last year when we weren't winning?
Yeah.
And Dom wasn't scoring. And his stock answer every week was, well, he's one game closer to scoring, and we're one game closer to winning because we're not changing anything. But that goes on so long. I don't think you can work like that.
I think he does believe that, though. I think he believes in his methods, and he believes that what he does is yielding results because we're not conceding goals. And it's like just getting the next thing right, which one of these will drop. I think he's a great believer in that. In you keep doing what you're doing, something will drop for you. And the fact that we're not conceding goals means that all it needs really is one of these things to drop, and we'll get a goal and we'll get a win and stuff. And I understand the philosophy behind that. But ultimately, I just don't think we create enough chances. I think that's the ultimate thing. There's an article in The Athletic today talking about it. You know, less chances, less XG, less set piece goals, less set piece chances.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
And that is true, isn't it? And I think as I said, I think just from a point of view of like, I understand like the enthusiasm point of view. I think on Sunday, if the game is played in the way we think the game is played, I think Beto will have a very, very lonely afternoon. And that's to me.
Dom will, won't he?
Yeah, but I think Dom can. I think the difference is, though, I do think Dom, well, I know for a fact that Dom can hold the ball up better and bring people into play. And I just don't think Beto can, so I'm not sure Sunday is the game for it. But certainly Wednesday against Wolves might be the opportunity where you're trying to spark the crowd, trying to get the game to life, trying to unsettle a few players. He will make those runs all night for you, and he'll be desperate for an opportunity. So Wednesday might be the night. Just not sure Sunday's the day for it.
Yeah. I mean, let's have it right. I don't think he'll start on Sunday regardless. I think the manager will pick who he picks because he has his, I don't want to say favourites, but he has his mind made up of what he's doing, and that's no problem with that. That's up to him. I just think, me personally, I think he deserves a go at some stage because, like I said, more out of other players not doing it. And I think you always should be trying different scenarios. If it's not working, it's not working. So therefore, I'd try Jack Harrison on the left. I've said this. You've got him. Others aren't doing it. And Jai in the 10 or and Jai off the right with Harrison on the left, and maybe, Lindstrom wasn't great last week. He's had a couple of goals and he's been a bit hit and miss. So does he deserve to stay in? Probably not. So, I think you have to look for solutions within it. And hopefully in a couple of weeks, there's images today that Everton have put out clearly earlier in the week, training, where Chimitti's back amongst it, which is great. You want him stepping it up. I think he's due to play tomorrow. I think Everton are playing tomorrow.
Friday.
Yeah, tomorrow, yeah. And Broyer's supposedly playing again as well. So that's good if you can get them 2 games and they're ready to come back in. Gives the manager more options, more choices. But I just think right now, when it's not working, I think you have to look for other solutions. The one thing I really don't like with Sean Dyche is he just leaves stuff and it just rolls. And some Burnley, I've seen stuff from Burnley fans the other day, and he was talking about when he was there, and it was like, so often he won't change anything, and a period of time goes by before you get a positive result. It's like, why aren't you trying to do things in that interim period? Why are you always waiting for, like, we're on game 3, it'll go right in game 9. So but you've tossed 6 games off in the meantime. I think the best managers are always looking for solutions and are going, that isn't working, I'm going to try this, and that isn't working, I'm going to try that. And I just think we're at a stage where we've tossed off so many games. We haven't played a decent side at home yet. Brighton on day 1, Brighton are a really good side, but on day 1, till Young went off, the game was really quite tight. Newcastle, I keep saying it, turned up with no strikers. It was there for us, and we just sort of stayed within ourselves, and we're like, if we get a draw, we've done all right. When you're looking, you should be looking and going, these are here for the taking, no forwards. Let's get the ball. What's done is done, and we can't change that. But now it's not working. I think I'd be personally looking to mix it up and see whether we can just spark something. You're probably dead right. Maybe Wednesday night's a better thing because you're going into Goodison Park. Personally, I think it's going to be dead. Not as in, I think everyone it'll be full, it'll be sold out, but I just think it's going to be flat because I'm always glass half full.
Well, everyone's sick of it.
I'm always glass half full, but I don't see us getting anything on Sunday. And therefore, we go to a game that is a very winnable game against a team who I expect to be above us when we kick off on Wednesday now, just out of the way the results might go the weekend. They might not. Bournemouth might go to Molineux and beat them. But that, to me, is a huge game for it. Well, it is a huge, not to me, it's a huge game for Everton Football Club. And I just feel like I've watched this episode before where everyone knows what the inevitable is, what the outcome's going to be. And it's just, will we get to the outcome? How quick will we get? For me now, it's if and not when they change the manager. And I just feel like the fans will just be, there we go. And maybe something like having Beto in the starting lineup, chasing things down, might ignite the crowd a little bit and go, get us going. You've got to play off that energy. I was talking to Chris before coming, as they do when Liverpool win games.
Every day.
No, to be fair, we were having a conversation about it, and he was saying about like the differences he's noticed slightly. He was saying at Anfield they play different than they do away. He said because the crowd are like, get them going at home sort of thing. And I think that's what Everton have been built on, certainly in my lifetime. When we've been energised as a fan base, that energy filters through onto the pitch. We don't win all the time because of it, but it gives you that extra yard. And I think it notably this season, I can't think of any game that's been sort of electric.
Well, this is the none of them have because this is the thing, isn't it? It's this is the whole problem with it. Something we've spoke about this week is Everton approached this season in every capacity wrong. Like literally every capacity. I've said this before. The whole thing on the pitch and off the pitch. They completely got it wrong off the pitch in terms of pre-season.
Yeah.
In terms of like
pre-season,
the teams we played and the fitness levels and just nonsense. And some of the clips we saw.
Don't.
But I think off the pitch they got it wrong as well because just in terms of like they just went overboard with the Goodison stuff and went really too early with it, and that proved by no one was buying tickets to any of the events. And I think it was almost like that sentimentality kicked in far too early, and people just like it. So I think it almost created this thing of like, it's our last season at Goodison, let's all enjoy it. It was like there's still a lot of football to play. There's still a lot of big games for the sake of like the league, not necessarily because it's the last season at Goodison. And that sentimentality sort of rides over the need for points in some ways. Oh, it's the last game or blah, blah, blah. And, I don't feel a bit of that sentimentality to Goodison at this stage. There's far too many bigger problems facing us, and maybe when there's a takeover happens and maybe when things change a little bit, well, maybe we can start thinking about that. But I don't think we can think about that at all at the moment. So people do go to the game flat, and there's none of this. There's none of this, as I said, sentimentality for Goodison Park. It's about getting through games and trying to pick up points, and just doesn't feel like the focus has been on that too much. So, yeah, Wednesday night might be a case of, because if Beto plays Sunday and he doesn't get a kick, then maybe you've let some of that energy dissipate. Whereas maybe he comes in Wednesday and it's like you're saying before, it's not. I don't think he deserves to be in the team as such, but does Dominic Calvert-Lewin deserve to be in the team? And are you putting him on the bench to say to him, you need to improve? You're not doing enough. It's now this lad's chance.
I don't think it's healthy when a player plays every week and they're below par. I don't think it's healthy for anyone. I don't think it's healthy for him, for the edge. I don't think it's healthy for the edge wrestling.
From you too?
No, wrestler.
Okay.
I don't think it's helpful to the lads who are chasing, trying to get in the team.
No.
Because the messaging has to be, again, we've had this conversation a little bit about Jarrod Branthwaite, who clearly is good, more than good enough to start games for Everton. But there does have to be a little bit of messaging, of course. And sometimes you've got a player who performs really well. But if Jarrod Branthwaite dips and doesn't step up to the thing, then I'd expect him to be pulled out the side for a little bit, because I think it's one thing going, we play all our best players all the time. Get that. You play your best players at the time when they're playing to the level. If the players start dipping but still play, the lads who are trying to push them, where's the edge goes off them, and they're like, well, no matter what I do, he's playing. We're seeing it a little bit, probably seeing it with Patterson, people like that, who really should be. Maybe Jake O'Brien's fell into that zone now of, no matter what I do, Michael Keane plays with Branthwaite, so what's the point? I was playing in Europe and I've come here to Everton on a fourth choice. You know, and Patterson, you know, I'm a player who's fit, and yet I'll be third choice behind Seamus, who's not even fully fit yet, but I know that Young's legs would have to fall off, you know, and the manager might even think of Begovic like that before me.
Yeah, but that's not football, though.
No, but you've got to have...
No, what I'm saying, the Patterson thing is nothing.
No,
that's not a football decision. As far as I'm concerned, that's not a football decision.
Well, that started started with a slap, and that should have been...
It started with a slap.
And that should have been the end.
No, it just... Yeah, there feels more to that.
But what I mean is...
I do get what you're saying.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, you know what, Jack Harrison's trained amazingly all week. And for the last few weeks, and Illiman and Jai's been dreadful, but Illiman and Jai's playing all the time, because I wouldn't do that personally as a manager. I'd go, you've dropped your level, and this kid's ready to go. And I think you've got to create that in the squad to drive them.
I'd like to see Harrison on the left, Dwight McNeil on the right, and Jai through the middle. I really would.
See, I certainly don't have a problem with Jai on the right, though, and Harrison on the left and McNeil in the middle.
I just think
you can mix it.
Harrison can play off the left and cross with his left foot. Then Dwight McNeil can cut in on his left foot from the right, and then Jai can play down the middle. I think that... I don't understand why that... Certainly Harrison hasn't been tried. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, the reason why Dwight McNeil is better sort of central is because he can get on the right-hand side and get onto his left foot. How many times now have we seen Dwight McNeil play on the left and cut in? And what he does is he can't bend the ball from the left-hand side. So he does that straight shot. And because his body position is all wrong, he kicks across it. And it goes, you can see where it's going.
He done one on Saturday, didn't he?
Yeah, twice. Done on both ends.
Yeah, both ends. And it's because his hips do lag. Because he just can't. There's no movement.
He can't shape his body. No. Because you can't shape your body to bend the ball back anyway that way. So you look at when he plays centrally, you look at his heat maps after the game, and he always picks up that pocket on the right hand side of the box, like almost like he's playing on the right. So why don't we try him on the right and try Harrison on the left, or try Lindstrom on the left? They say one day Lindstrom might play in his actual footballing position,
Lindstrom where he was very good.
But that, to me, does that make too much sense?
No, but this is what I'm saying though. I'm not, regardless of what camp you're in with the manager, right? Surely any manager, even if you love him, or you love any manager, whoever it is, and they're struggling, you go and try everything. Try anything to get yourself something that works. Remember, David Moyes with Cahill. Tim Cahill started off in the centre of midfield for Everton and couldn't really play in it too. And we went to Man United away, and Moyes put him in front of them in the number 10 now, wasn't really, but he was the point of the midfield three. Yeah. And he was brilliant. And that became his position. Everton changed. Moyes had never done that before, but Everton went to that formation because it suited that player. Sometimes you discover a position for a player because you haven't mixed stuff around and go, this isn't really working. Let's try this. Let's try that. But that's my criticism for Sean Dyche, is that there's none of that inventiveness. There's none of that thing of going, mix it. But this isn't working. Let's put Harrison on the left, where he's done really well for Leeds, where Bielsa played him all the time. So therefore he must have been a workhorse. He'll obviously help Mikalenko, because he doubles up all the time. But let's give the lad a chance to get it onto his left foot and just cross it, because he can cross it with his left foot. You know, it might be a bit better for us. Like you said, you'd either try and Jai on the right, where we've seen him playing and he can do his dribbling, or you put McNeil and go, can you get yourself that half a yard of space to get shots away?
I'd just like to see Jai play more than number 10.
Well,
just
well, maybe.
Because, just off the back of that, just because I do think he becomes a proper number 10 and becomes off the striker. And I know that's sort of what they were looking for on Saturday by being off Dom.
But he used them for 10 and then switched it.
I know. Do you know what? And I know what's mad today?
Was weird.
I was listening to the radio the other day. I was listening to the radio on Merseyside on the way home from here. And it was just, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. They were saying, oh, Sean Dyche should be made up. Well, forget about that point. But he was like, Sean Dyche should be made up because he tried him in there and it just didn't work. And I was like, what? What? Like, okay.
Who was saying this?
I don't want to dig people out.
Okay.
They were like, yeah, well, it didn't. Sean Dyche should probably be made up because he's proved to everyone now that he can't play in the number 10. I was like, hang on, number 1.
Jesus.
Like, he was in there for like 5 minutes before half time and then like 20 minutes after that. Is that enough evidence? And actually, he was driving at them and then moving it wide. He was trying to open up the space. And if people aren't running in front of him, making runs, what do you want him to do? But this idea of, oh, that's the end of that. How many times have we heard that at Everton in the last so many years? Oh, we tried them for 15 minutes. See, it didn't work, and you'll never do that again. It's like, what are you talking? You know what I mean? It blew my mind that it didn't work. You're having a laugh. Number 1, if it didn't work, which, you know, Brentford had nearly every single man behind the ball. That's not a natural situation where him as a number 10, when he'd normally be playing in there, would be have a normal back 4 or a back 3. And
some of our fans need educating.
Well, number 1, the host of the show, who's a Red, needs to not talk about stuff that he doesn't know anything about. But that idea of, like, because he literally led the Everton fan into the suggestion, but it was like that idea that 20 minutes in the second half,
case study.
Yeah, when they've got nearly every single man behind the ball and literally are just putting
might not work for 3 games, and then you get your bearings again.
Like McNeil hasn't worked loads of times.
Of course it hasn't. It's worked less than it has worked.
But then now,
like McNeil's whole Everton career's worked less than it has worked. No, but it has.
I'm not laughing because I don't agree with it.
The moments when it's worked, he's been brilliant. His left foot's great, but Dyche has played him a number of times on the left wing. Me personally, he's better than the 10. Personally, for me,
he's more effective.
That's what I mean. But he hasn't worked on the left, and yet he's played him a number of times on the left. So you can't judge 25 minutes in a game and go, that doesn't work. And any Evertonian or any fan of any team who sees a player in a position for 20 minutes and goes, he can't play there, doesn't, to me.
I've watched Cole Palmer about 3 times this season playing big games, and he's looked absolutely rubbish. But I know he's not rubbish.
I watched Kevin De Bruyne the last couple of games, looking like a lad who should be playing Sunday League football.
But he's officially like gone, hasn't he?
But he's been majestic.
No, but what I mean is that I've watched Cole Palmer play in like the big games, and I haven't seen him do anything in them. But I know he's a brilliant player. I imagine Jude Bellingham didn't do anything last night.
I watched 20 minutes last night. He was pathetic, like literally pathetic last night. And I love Bellingham. I think he's one of the best players in the world. But
this idea that you can sort of go, well, we put him in there for 25 minutes and it didn't work. It was like, look at the circumstances.
Evertonians, all of us, are going to have to, when changes are made, are going to have to just step the fuck back and allow stuff to allow stuff to develop. We can't keep jumping on just things.
Bleep that out when we go live, what I mean.
Are we live? We're going to have to just sort of allow processes to play out a little bit.
I think
we will.
I think we've become quite good. Do you think we've become quite patient?
I'm not accusing us of being impatient. Well, 30 years this year without winning a trophy. 30 years.
I was just a child.
30.
I was practically an embryo.
Just scandalous. It's absolutely.
Alcoholic liquid had not even gone over into my mouth, over the gums. Hadn't. I got back from Wembley, went to bed. James has never even had that.
I was banging goals in left, right.
Sorry.
Goals in left, right, and centre. I was about to.
When?
Well, I should have just when Everton last won a trophy.
Okay.
I
Sorry,
should.
I thought you meant right when they were playing.
No, I should have gone to. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, but no, what I mean is there's going to be things that we're going to have to try, and we've got to allow things to just play out a little bit. We can't make these snap judgments on players in a 20-minute pocket. No. We can't. We simply can't, because other clubs, you don't hear this from any other club. And then them clubs do well, and we go, why can't we be like that? Well, because you know, fall off if
of course, patient. I think our fans have become.
Most fans do.
I think our fans.
Most fans do.
I've heard this a lot about, and we've said it of like, if a new manager comes in and there's a long-term thing, and you know, whoever it is, you know, you hear one side of it where it's like people have to be patient. I think our fans have become very patient.
No, well, we've got it.
Almost past the point of like. Of going the other way now, where I think we might be a little bit too patient, and then the other side where people where it's like if a certain manager comes in, it's like, oh, he'll never cope with us. Well, then maybe that's on us, then, isn't it? Maybe that's on us to back down a little bit.
I honestly think whoever we get, you could make a case that wouldn't be able to cope. So it's up to us now to make them cope.
It's up to us, isn't it?
Isn't it? You could say anyone, couldn't you? So we've got to look after that, but we've also got to get back to that making Goodison like hostile for away clubs, and then when we go to the new stadium, making that. Because that's when we're engaged and behind it. I'm saying people aren't behind. Everyone goes into Goodison behind the team. Everybody. But that's got to get that point across back onto the pitch, so that energy is feeding into those players positively, so we start beating these teams, and that's where we are. But we've all, you know, what I'm saying about like the manager, let's change it. Let's energise that fan base on. Okay, if it isn't Sunday because he wants to be, listen, not going to have a go and he doesn't go 4 up front on Sunday. Is there an argument to get at United right now while they're still in the little bits of the playing tonight, aren't they, against Bodo Glimt? Is there an argument to get at them while everything's not settled yet with Amarim? And he's got games, and then there's recovery for them, and then basically they've only got 1 day's training, then it's Everton. You know, maybe this is a good time to play them. So you could make a case and go, these are here actually right now. These are here to maybe grab something.
I just don't think we're good enough to do that anyway.
Well, I actually think we've got the ability to do it, but I don't think the tactics will allow us to do it. So what we're going to do is give them the onus.
We'll go for clean sheet.
So therefore, okay, well, you know what? If they get out with a 0-0, that's not a bad result.
No.
And you move forward, but the opportunity there against Wolves then to energise the fan base just by mixing stuff up and going, look, I'm showing you that I'm trying different things.
I don't think he cares. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I don't think he cares. I don't think he cares about the fan base. I don't think he cares about energising the fan base. I really don't. I don't mean that in a horrible way. I just don't think he cares. I think
that's like losing one of the best assets for the club.
I just think but what I mean by that, I just think he thinks if I play this team, I've got an opportunity to get a point and maybe nick a win. You know, you said it. I think you said it yesterday or the day before, saying when we went to Southampton, when his press conference afterwards, going, God, you know, we could have won that. Yeah, maybe we're playing the team who hadn't won a game and we're bottom of the league, and we've just handed them their first victory and clean sheet. Yes, mate. Other people go into that game not thinking we can win this, thinking we will win this. So.
Right, where are we? Steve P says, Baz, did you see Ngal Mukauska, the player I told you about the other day, got 2 for Lille last night? Yeah, I did see it, mate.
David Murphy on the Super Chat says, play the raffle winner. DCL won't take risks.
Harsh.
I don't know whether he's saying play the raffle winner DCL or play the raffle winner DCL won't take risks.
I think he's saying play the raffle winner.
So Beto's the raffle winner.
Call him Beto a raffle winner, which I think's a bit harsh. Tom says it, not sure about this Carsley coming in with Moyes shout. Both have completely different styles of play. Carsley's a modern coach whose teams are patient and play through the lines as well as being flexible. Moyes' teams play some decent stuff, but he has his style very reliant on crosses. I think he's quite defensive. I'd have Carsley on his own.
I think it's just like that's just like a fantasy thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like real.
It's like you know, saying we're going to Typhoon Lagoon, but I'm just got to put a life jacket on you. Do you know what I mean? You're there.
I'm there.
But you can't quite enjoy it as much, can you? But you know you're not going to get pulled under the wave.
Yeah, well, that is true. That is true. Not so purple, like he said, is I'm paraphrasing here. He's called him a different name, doing his presses today or tomorrow. It's tomorrow, his press conference. Joe says, hi lads, on seeing the virtual seating plan at the new stadium, if you look in the away section, block 118 in the top right hand corner, those seats are surely obstructed views of the south end goal.
Say that again.
If you go to block 118 in the top right hand corner of the away section, he's saying that there's obstructed views, Joe.
Number one, who cares?
Because it's for the away fans.
Because it's in the away fans. And
because the club have said there isn't a single obstructed view.
And number two, I doubt it.
They've said
what block was it?
Block 118.
All right, I'll have a look now.
Gary Ward says, howdy and happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, Gary. Happy Thanksgiving to all of our US viewers and followers.
Just a made-up thing, isn't
it? Enjoy your turkey. Isn't there about 14 games today? In the
NFL, big day, isn't it? It's like Boxing Day, isn't it?
Yeah, it's superb. Steve Peace says, been playing the PS5 the last couple of days, and all I can say is, I was asleep, now I'm awake. It's copyright strike, stop it.
I don't think it is. That's not a real song. What's that from? I'm asleep. Alan Wake?
I think he's just saying.
Is that from Alan Wake?
I don't know, but he's awake.
Well, Alan Wake.
Well, stay awake.
Next week, that game comes out. That footy game.
UFL?
Yeah, comes out next week. The trailer was out this week. You can get it now, but you have to pay 15 quid for it. You get all credits and shizzle dizzle, and you get it a week early.
Okay.
And it comes out on the 5th. It's heavily backed by like Ronaldo and stuff.
We'll heavily play it in the studio.
Well, you two can.
Well, of course, but I just meant when you're back as well. But that's it, you're leaving and gone forever. Nice one. Just you've had enough, that's it. You're going to France and never coming back. Fair play. Steve P's then on it. Steve P's fully immersed now. He's fully immersed in PlayStation. Says, have any of you played that Returnal on PS Plus? It's the first game I've played that genuinely feels like next gen, especially with the adaptive triggers. I don't think I'll ever buy a game for my Xbox again. James, this is what we were trying to tell you, son.
Yeah.
I haven't, Steve, but that is quite a recommendation, so therefore I will.
Yeah, Xboxes are for people who are on lists.
Waiting list, like for the season ticket holders?
Probably.
Okay. Not so Purple says, because Everton are shite, can I ask Ped for his opinion on the latest season of the Bear? Clever or a bit disappointing?
No, I really like that. I don't know.
I know he's just asking you. I don't know why. Is it clever or is it a bit disappointing?
I don't think it's even clever. I just thought it was really good. I really liked the Bear. I've seen people being a little bit harsh on it, saying it was terrible. I really liked the Bear. I thought it was really, really good. And the people in it, the actors in it, are unbelievable. Some of the cameos they get in it. It's a great show. It's very claustrophobic and makes you feel nervous, but I like it. It's not about a bear, by the way. It's about a kitchen.
Yeah, but I'll never watch it because you said it makes you feel nervous.
No, it makes you've seen those programs where
Everton make me nervous.
It's got like long takes of like where things have to be done, and as it goes, is like anxiety just builds and builds and builds.
So I'm getting
it's a very good show
about it, to be honest. Ryan says, I don't think Beto is good enough, but we aren't scoring, so we have to try something. On another note, last week was the last time I'm going to Goodison until I see some change. 420-mile round trip to see that is just not worth the investment anymore, and it pains me to say that. But the apathy in the club and in the stadium is too much for me now.
That's right.
Ryan, you're not on your own. So many people have got in touch and said the same thing. That's it. The manager's killed it for them. They're done. It's expensive now. It's 420 miles for a home game. Is that's some commitment. So I wouldn't have a go at anybody.
What was that section again?
Section 118.
118
in the upper of the
right.
away section. So looking at the south end goal.
Well, there's the south.
Okay,
end.
so look at the other one.
There's the south end goal there.
Are you at the back of that?
Yeah, pretty much. Not at the very back, but you know. Row 30, section 118.
Okay, that was
doing it in real time, do you know what I mean?
Gio said it. If you look in the away section, block 118 in the top right hand corner, those seats are surely obstructive views of the south end goal. Just merely passing it on. Nathan says, afternoon gents, hope you're all well. Who do you guys want as the next manager? Also, side note, saw that Rat Journo on that Something Radio Show podcast. some people aren't made for speaking video content.
I mean, you could be talking about literally anybody.
Yeah, I don't. Give us a bit of context to who the journo was. Just say the surname. Michael Wood says, I think Beto will come in. To be honest, I think it's because Domney's dropping now if he isn't committing. Breuer should be coming in, but doubt he will with lack of game time. I want Pato in as well. No, Breuer will have a couple more games, then I think he'll be in the... He might be in the squad for like the derby, maybe, on the bench. Although he may play tonight, he may play tomorrow for the 21s and have like 70 minutes, 80 minutes, and he might go full week's training or something, we'll see. Jonathan says the easier answer is yes. He is better than 50% Dom we currently have. Until Dom gives 100% again, then he's the worst striker at the club. Okay. Peter McParland question only. Was the Pato sending off a sign of the frustration of his current predicament?
Why is this a question just for me?
Has he been in a toxic situation and he isn't thinking right? Or is it a sign he isn't quite right for Everton's first team? Well, like before you answer, can we just put this into context, right? He flicked the ball away.
Yeah.
He got given a free kick against, which he didn't think was a foul, and he flicked the ball away. That was it.
Maybe.
And he was sent off for it.
Maybe he forgot the rules of football.
Because he hasn't
played for so long.
Maybe. So what do you think? Is it any of them? Is he frustrated? Is it...
Frustration would be doing something stupid like smashing into somebody.
Tackle, yeah.
That's frustration. Flicking the ball away is just stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid.
John says, for all our forwards' failures up front, our midfield just doesn't do enough. The lack of creativity is there for all to see, and the forwards suffer as a result. Yeah, can't disagree.
I can't find this obstructive view. All the seats look spot on. I can see the south. I can see the north. I can see everything.
Joe's just maybe.
Come on, Joe. What are you looking at, Joe? Put it in the comments. I'm looking at section 118. I'm in row 19. Now I'm in row 30. There's a perfect view of the south end goal. I don't know what you're looking at.
Gavin Cunningham says Beto does something, Dom does nothing. Don says he deserves a chance. He has a better goals per minute ratio than Dominic Calvert-Lewin. However, we'd have to play to his strengths, and seeing as that we don't do that for Dom, then there's not much chance we would anyway. Tony Rees says yes, he does. I know he's not Dom in terms of hold-up play, but it's not working. Playing Beto can't make the outcome of games any worse. Here's a novelty. Dyche play two strikers up front from the kick-off. Bob says we should go 4-4-2 and play Beto and Dom, but our manager prefers a 9-0-1.
Actually,
Paul Hewitt, rumours freak and wants out the deal. I mean, that's just nonsense, isn't it? Absolute nonsense.
Where's that come from? Just so
it's going to be done
so
in
I
the
can
next,
right
within 2 weeks.
118, row 30, back right corner seats. Right, back right corner. Let's have a look. You can't see past the little terrace.
Danny says, got to say, he's a YouTube member, got to say, Dave on Toffee TV spoke more truth about our club than Dyche says since he arrived. We also need to get it United from the start on Sunday. Paul says, my previous post saying Freakin wants out, only what I've heard. They can't sort out the 777 loan and are concerned over the deal. Apparently, everything's almost done. So I don't know where you've got that from. Justin says, we have a 400-mile round trip. We'll keep going. Although, what the hell are you doing on Priory Road by the BP in the footy car park? What a mess.
So who's Brian King? I mean, how would somebody who's an ex-Everton scout have any info on what's going on in a billion-dollar deal? I wish people, please stop listening to nonsense online. Like, just come on. Stop listening to nonsense.
What can you do? What can you do? People are worried, though. That's the problem, isn't it? KC, rumour freaking wants outsource a copyright account that has 6 followers on Twitter. Yeah.
Right, I can't see. Oh, I can see what you're looking at now. Right at the back, I see. Yeah. I see what you're looking at. I see.
Instead of just repeating, I see. Tell us what
the problem is you can't see from that seat to see if it is. There's a look. There's like a little balcony there, right? See those seats in the corner there. See?
Oh.
But you can't see what their sight line is.
Yeah.
So their sight line might be the goal, and it might be that's the problem because you can't see that sight line.
Yeah.
But it's the away ends who gives them monkeys.
Yeah. No, don't be. I wouldn't be worrying about anything. Brian King says. Brian King, who said Moyes had the job about 6 weeks ago, and fella, hasn't got a clue. Where are we here? Oh, Matt Hughes was the rat journal. I didn't think he was still around.
He's freelance, isn't he?
I think
freelance.
Thought he was off being a werewolf somewhere. Phil says, just think we always lack intensity, whether it's in the training videos or shooting practice. We lack that winning mentality. Yeah. Mark says he has to use all of the squad, especially with all these games coming up. Patterson, Beto, Harrison, Mangala all need to be involved. Correct. Jay says, good to speak to you guys last night. I wanted it to be a chest beating with our Everton call, but I just go off on a tangent. Enjoyed it though. Credit to the jobs you guys do. I was a nervous wreck. It was good call, Jay. What are you about it? Gary says, sure, give Beto a shot. Can't be any worse than the status quo. Mark says, Harrison at left back at work. Works hard, tackles well and can get up and down. Yeah. Interesting shout. Ped only question from Glenn. Following on from Jay Radcliffe's excellent club call last night, what is the atmosphere like in the lower Gladys Street in games at the moment? I'd love to sit down there once before we move. Well, I mean, that's a oxymoron straight away because you don't sit down.
You don't sit down.
But what's it feel like in the street end at the moment? I thought it was quite quiet.
Probably like what it feels like everywhere else, I'd imagine. You're waiting for something to happen. People that are sporadic, bits of people getting sick, trying to get songs going, but people are just waiting for something to happen. You're watching the match and you're wanting something to happen, and you can't. It's hard. It's that thing of like you're concentrating on the game, and you're nervous, so you don't have that. You almost don't pull yourself out of that to suddenly start singing and stuff, or people who do that. And I think that's the problem. It's like there's no one in particular to blame at anywhere around the. I think that's the thing with anywhere in the ground. I think when you have an area of the ground that starts the singing, I think the way it's always been is most people get to a point in their lives where they go to the areas where you can just sit down, watch the game, and you don't get drawn into the other stuff unless it's a big game. Whereas those areas which are supposed to be for the atmosphere and stuff, we've seen it to the other end where people don't even watch the match, where people have their backs and they're doing the old tannoys and all that. But I don't think people have the ability to free themselves up and can relax enough. And again, it's that thing of like you go to the match and it's supposed to be fun, but people can't pull themselves out of being totally nervous and sitting and watching a match. And it's not like you're not being engrossed. You're waiting for something to happen, and because nothing's happening, you get tenser and tenser and tenser as the match goes on, and it doesn't free anyone up to start that process, the singing process. And I know maybe other people go, well, the atmosphere should start before. But none of us are just relaxed enough at the match. And how can we be? We've had to endure this now for the last few years, and whether it's last year with the points deductions or the year before with obviously going down to the last couple of games or whatever it is, it's just your nerves are on edge all the time. So how can anyone just relax and get into a game of football and enjoy it for what it is? It's just simply not going to happen until we, turn a corner and get out of where we are now.
It's mad, isn't it? Absolutely mad. First and foremost, Evan Ferguson isn't available on loan. Hazel has come out today and said, don't even know where that's come from, but it's nonsense. So that's out the question. Tommy says, do you think Thelwell spent well with such a limited budget, 50 million on O'Brien and Beto? It wasn't 50 million, but we did spend some money on them. Like, what do you think?
Not the same summer, were they? They weren't the same summer, and obviously Beto's is over 5 years, and we didn't have to pay anything up front for him. So it was a case of getting what we could. We obviously wanted the other kid, didn't we? Traore.
We wanted El Bilal Traore, really.
We wanted him, didn't we, really? But they wanted money, as most football clubs do. So we again got what we could, and that's what it's been like the last few years, hasn't it? It's the pay structure dictating the player. It started with Dwight McNeil. It's the pay structure dictating what you want, and we know the targets we missed out on because clubs wanted actual money up front. Which again, how dare they?
Stephen Warman says, hey lads, we need our manager, players to be invested in our club. One thing you can say about Beto, he clearly loves playing for Everton, but the same can't be said for some others. Yeah. Steve says, do you know when you watch these Champions League games, it's genuinely like watching a different sport compared to watching us. Teams are just constantly going forward with the intention of scoring goals and winning the game, which is the polar opposite to what we do. I can't wait till the second he's gone. Be careful, Steve. People will tell you he's a genius. Jay says, come on Blues, don't give up on Everton. The manager is crap, the board and Toffee are crap, the tactics are crap, but we are not. We're Everton and we'll be Everton forever. Alan says, Beto, Harrison left and Jai Lindstrom on the right and centre, more pace than McNeil. Okay. Peter Hall says, I live 300-mile round trip to watch Everton. I haven't been this season and doubt I'll go due to this manager. The club being dysfunctional. I haven't even bought a new top as I have every year since 1984 because of the cost and the same reasons about the club. So pissed off with it all, apart from you guys, which I've said before, you make me laugh out loud most days and keep me informed, so thank you. Thank you very much, Peter. It is sad, all the other points you've made, though. That is really sad that you feel like that, because none of us should feel like that. We should all be energised and excited to watch Everton and looking forward to the next game, but I don't know. It'll change. Mark Cody says Michalenko offers nothing, drop him. David Murphy says it's difficult to assess Thelwell because Dychasaurus won't play his signings. Ian W says the same people saying Freaking Group are pulling out are the same ones that said Zidane was getting a gaff on Breck Road. Yeah. Sophie says, got a horrible feeling Chelsea away from last season is going to happen again. When? On Sunday? Do you mean, Soph? Danny Church, a YouTube member, says Liverpool started Conor Bradley last night, young lad, and played brilliantly. He's now done his hamstring and is out for 6 weeks, but he did have a good game against Mbappe last night. Yeah, Dyche would never do this. Of course he wouldn't. Danny says Dyche a genius. Some people really do have chronic delusions.
Well, that's only because he calls himself a genius.
But people are that easy to gaslight. I think everyone, not everyone, but I think a lot of Evertonians would just like us to try and win games of football. Do you know what I mean? That's it. That's what you're there for. You're there to try to win. Well, you should be. You're there to try to win the game. And it isn't about making sure that you don't concede. It's about, certainly away, yeah. I get it away. You might be more reserved away, no problem with that. But at home, we have to go after teams, and we don't. And you've got to change different people and do all that. Get him. Oh, sorry, Soph, the derby. Don't know, because they don't play that same way away from Anfield, do they? And we've all seen lots of Merseyside derbies where they have been coming into it absolutely flying. And you're thinking, oh my God. The worst one, like going into it, was when Allardyce was the manager and they were beating teams 6 and 7-0 every week, and I was thinking, we're going to get, like, it could be 6 or 7-0. It's just because they're flying and our confidence is on the floor, and we end up getting a 1-1 draw, didn't we? So you just never ever know. Would I back us to beat them? Probably not. If you're looking at it, by the time we play them, I'll feel like we can beat them, of course I will. But you look at it and you think they're flying, they're beating everybody at the moment. You know, but I'd be amazed if they beat them. Never say it. Yeah, I'm hoping you're wrong, so put it that way. Hayden says, who'd be your preferred choice out of Conceição, Potter or David Moyes?
I don't know. I like the idea of Conceição. I think. But him, I mean, he's got more experience than Potter. But you do get the feeling that maybe one of those two is ready to take a club like Everton on, and maybe with the right level, with the right amount of backing. Moyes is a comfort blanket, isn't it? But it's come up a few times this week. I do think we have to get out of that habit of just giving people a job for a short term, because that's all it's been really since Marco Silva left, is all short termism. Carlo was always going to be short term, no matter what, and everything since has just followed suit. And I think we have to get away from that.
Yeah, I like the look of Conceição. I like the look of Potter. I think he'd change Everton from what they've been doing. I think they sort of like the similarities to Martinez, I think, are wrong. I think that's easy and lazy, I think, with people. I think he's a very good coach. He improves players. He plays younger players, develops players. Maybe that's what we sort of need right now. I like Thomas Frank, but I don't think we'd go and pay money to Brentford and get him out of there, but I think he'd be a good Everton manager. Conceição, done really well. Looks a good manager. I like Edin Terzic. I think he'd be a good choice for Everton. So any of those, I think he'd be a good manager for Everton. I think Potter's got the opportunity, experienced. He'll be really keen to prove himself after Chelsea. You know, when he left Brighton, he was 4th in the league. He turned that club into what it is now. Yeah. But Edin Terzic, I think, is an interesting one, though. I think he looks like he's a really good coach. But again, and he has got a bit of experience here because he was West Ham's coach for 2 years in the Premier League. And so we'll see. Gary Prince says Breuer is a dud. He failed his medical at Ipswich and we sign him. How does that happen? Well, he had an Achilles injury when he went for his Ipswich medical. So they wanted it to be clear before they paid 30 million for him. And then they went back in to get him, and the minute Everton come up, he left their training ground and went to Everton. So that's why. Wormy says Dyche is a genius, to be fair. He's been paid millions to be a football manager when he couldn't manage an under-11 side. David says the heart of this club has been ripped out and Dyche is trampling all over it. To set up a home not to lose is abhorrent. Kieran Dooley says, off topic, best of luck to Frank as manager of Conte. Absolutely. Hope he does well there. David Murphy says, Conceição, would love him. Yeah. Richard says, what's occurring with Delhi? Well, he's pulled a hamstring. Well, he got a hamstring injury while full training. So I don't know how bad it is, to be honest. We'll see. Steve says Dyche needs to go ASAP. We won't attract any players while he is there. Get Moyes in to stabilise us, then find the right man to take us forward. I honestly don't think that Moyes, they'll be looking at David Moyes. I just don't think they will. I don't think so. To be honest with you. Kieran says Liverpool are winning a lot of games, but for most games the opponents are well in it. It won't keep going their way. Don't get me wrong, they're a good team, just not as good as people say. They're winning now, aren't they? They were good last night. Mark Higgins. Imagine if he was real Mark Higgins. I mean, he is real Mark Higgins.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean?
yeah.
If he was ex-Everton Mark Higgins. Says, Dykes did quite well when he first got the job, but now he's only going backwards. He's running backwards.
Yeah.
It's that thing of tenure. Me and Ped spoke about this last night. It's tenure, and some managers get to a stage where then the tenure starts getting smaller and smaller. The window gets smaller and smaller because they're only able to affect a small period of time until everyone sort of works them out, or the players get sort of bored with what they're doing or whatever. And football moves on that quick.
Yeah.
You speak to anyone in football and they're talking about going, the game 3 years ago was totally different. That's how fast it's moving now, and you're looking at it, and I think someone mentioned before, Steve, wasn't it, talking about the Champions League games, when you watch the speed of them and the way those teams fly forward and attack, that's where the game is now. The game isn't 11 men behind the ball trying to nick a 1-0 win. That isn't the game. Not at the top level, it's not anyway.
Not when the mentality of a lot of people is, let's just score more goals than the opponent rather than don't concede. You know, teams are happy. Well, not happy, I suppose, but teams are looking at going, well, if we win this game 3-2, we win it 3-2 because we're going to score goals. If we concede, that we concede. See that with Brentford, their home record is exactly the flip of their away record.
But you said the other day, and you're right, it'll turn for them at some stage away. What they're doing will get them victories away. Casey says Sean Dyche should have to pay some of his wages back, I reckon. He's been on annual leave this season. Willow Wilson says, do we feel like half the squad is with Dyche and the other half don't fancy him?
Possibly.
Might even be more than that. Abby, a YouTube member, said Conceição, then Potter or Terzic is the available next. But he will change us for the better. Conceição would be great, but cost us a fair bit in compensation. He's not working. He's free at the moment. So Stephen Johnston says Dyche knows he's toast and is simply going through the motions. KC, the Freakins are in London for Tottenham Roma tonight. Wonder if they can drop a P45 off on the way out. Gary says, I'm paraphrasing, Dyche needs sacking as soon as the takeover happens, plays for a draw every week. And Joe Fairfield, the YouTube member, says 7 wins in 34 Premier League games. Just not good enough, lads. He's got us playing like a League 2 team over playing Arsenal every week. And Roy says we're paying Dyche $1.5 million more a year than Terzic was on at Borussia Dortmund. Ian the Blue Baz, did he go for Gaultier? I don't know is the answer. He was very good, wasn't he, in France? He's in Saudi now, isn't he, Gaultier? I'll be honest, I did want him when he was in France. When we had the chance to get him, he was very interested in the Everton job. I think wanted him because he went in the dressing room and done forward roll. And I think any manager that goes in and does forward rolls in the dressing room and they've won a game, I've got a bit of time for that.
Bit of athleticism.
Athleticism doing it. Rob says, how did the makers of the UFL make money if the game is free?
Packs.
That's where all the money is.
That's where all the money is now, isn't it? In the packs. Improve your team, buy players, whatever. I'm not, there's stuff online about it, so people get greedy, don't they? They want shortcuts. So, especially with it being online.
We won't be doing that. We'll be doing it the right way. We'll be doing it from a PSR point of view, not these kids who are just spending money, as I well know. Zach did one time. James, do you know this? I'll just tell you this before we go. Head knows this story, but you know the way you have your credit card registered? So, years ago, I don't know how old he was. What was he, about 8?
27 he was.
Yeah, 27. He was about 8 or 9. And he spent a ridiculous amount of money on the credit card. Something like
8, wasn't
800 quid.
Yeah. Bad paying at the end of the day, isn't it?
Did you get it back?
Got it back simply because we had a go at the bank who said, you know, when a credit card's been done in for this amount of money, you should have sent us an alert to go, is this thing? And they didn't. And also, obviously, Sony we spoke to them. But what happened was he built this unbelievable team.
Did he pack anyone good with points?
Oh, he had everyone, and they were brilliant. But they refunded us, but they took that account off him, so the account went.
Baz did that picture, you know, the old man with the thing going, I didn't buy that video. That's...
Did I, yeah? Don't even know what you're talking about, but I'll take your word for it. Rob the Belfast Toffee says, any chance Carlo comes back with Real Madrid having their worst ever start to a Champions League campaign?
No.
He's not coming back, is he?
No.
Why would he want it? Why would he want it? Where he says, what Pez just said for the UFL, microtransactions. They're the one. Tim says, here's the problem. I just want your take on this before we definitely go. Right. Here is the problem with appointing Potter, etc. They need time, and we're in a relegation battle. Moyes keeps us up and improves morale. We aren't in United's position. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying, and it is quite tempting, isn't it, to do that? But isn't it just once again doing what we've done again? And as you know, I've got no problem with Moyes, but isn't it about breaking that cycle and saying we're going to try and build something? Yeah, you're building from a place which is a little bit more difficult, and I can understand why people want to wait till the end of the season for something like that, and that's where the Moyes coming in for a year or 18 months or whatever helps with that. But I think at some point we have to start building. We have to start building something. And he's worked in relegation battles, and if he's a good coach and he improves the players, you'll start winning games of football. I mean, the whole point is that you start winning games, and if you start winning games, you'll find yourself away from the relegation zone quite quickly, and he can improve the players. So I think it's the same for any coach. I just think we have to get out of this thing of we need to stay up, we'll appoint a manager, and then they have a short shelf life, so then you have to, and then you're back where you keep going back to where you started. Yeah. Dave said this when he was in on Tuesday. You keep ending up at the same place at the same time. Just after Christmas, 18 months or whatever it is, 2 years down the road, you keep coming back to that point, and that cycle has to be broken. It's actually why at the end of last season we advocated for sacking Sean Dyche in the summer. We both advocated, even after we won those games, we both said, I think now's the time to change it.
If you wanted to change and move forward, but the takeover was key, wasn't it? Mm. That's the problem. You needed the takeover so you can understand why he got. But a lot of people, and you have to respect that, he got 48 points, and people say, well, he deserves another goal. Fair play. Yeah. You can't argue against that, but he's not done it. We've won 7 games since December, and it's December next month. Yeah. So it's a year, and someone just put 7 wins in 34 Premier League games. That's atrocious. So it's one of them, isn't it? It's one of them. Right. But until you sort of break that cycle and you make the decision to move forward, you might always be in a position where you're just chasing a Sam Allardyce for 6 months. Yeah. Can't sack him because we know we're going to be in trouble. I don't know whether you can do that. And I used to say, making that change and getting someone in right now wouldn't be the right thing to do anyway. Someone who comes in and builds. So I don't know. We'll see, won't we? Someone just said, do you think if Dyche keeps a point a game, it's enough to keep him till the end of the season? No, I think they'll get rid of him. I do. I think they've already made their mind up to get rid of him. And it's a case of just when. And a lot of people saying if we keep Dyche, we'll be gone by January anyway. So who knows? Let's just win at some games of football. Keep saying it. Let's just go to Old Trafford and beat Amorim. Why wouldn't we? Let's go and do it. Let's surprise everybody. Jack says maybe another manager wouldn't have got any points with everything going on. Maybe another manager would have got double the points. A lot of managers would have won more than 7 games in 34. I can say that. A lot of other managers would have had better records than that, in my opinion, with these players. But we'll never know, would we? We'll never know. Right, we're going. Take it easy. We'll be on more than a game at 2:15, discussing how teams attack and shoot and score goals and win games. So if you're interested,
I'll have to read something.
Gonna watch some goals.
Some about that.
Just to remember. If you want to join us over there, the link is obviously here. This will take you to it at 2:15. Take it easy. See it all in a bit.